the last time I recorded, you guys saw me cleaning out the backyard patio and getting rid of everything. The demolition has begun. So the guys were here and they ripped out all of our greenery. It looks so bare outside, but we still have more to do. So my husband's taking down the string lights and all of the other lights that we have around the backyard because they're also coming to rip down the balcony. So many changes, but that's not what today's video is about. Today's video, we are going to be in the backyard doing a little bit of gardening in my potted garden. So I thought I would take you guys along with me for that. I know you guys enjoy it when we are outdoors. First, we're going to be tackling the hydrangea. She needs to be deadheaded. She is growing in so nicely. And then we're going to tackle these pots. We need to clean those up as well as start our planting for the new season. So I'm just going to be cutting above the first set of buds or greenery on the hydrangea, and just making sure we get rid of anything that is dead and dried out of the pot before we go ahead and repot her. Because I did keep the hydrangea outside the entire winter season, I wrapped her up in a old rug just to make sure that the roots did not freeze and it stayed nice and warm, and that actually worked. So I'm going to keep doing that hack and just leaving my hydrangea and my other potted plants outdoors during the winter under a covered area, and I'm just going to wrap them up so that they stay warm. Next, we're going to be working on this was my sweet alyssums, and they usually just grow back. So if once you cut them down for the season and leave them alone and water them, they're going to grow right back. But I don't only want alyssums in this pot, so I'm just going to try to take out as much of the root system as I possibly can. I was considering just using new soil for the pots, but that would just be too much soil, so we're going to do our best to take up as much of the root systems as possible. Because I'm somewhat particular about the placement of the seeds that I want to add into these pots, I'm going to go ahead and just wet the soil first, and then I'm going to go in and plant my seeds. I'm going to be trying my hand out on some peonies. This is my first time ever planting peonies. I'm also going to be planting the Dianthus spartabus, also known as the Sweet William, and of course my Sweet Alyssums. Now the type of peony that I'm going to be planting is called the Peony Tower Salmon Pink. It's also known as the Tower Salmon. It's a type of China aster seed. And I've heard that these are very easy at growing. All you do is just throw them in the pot and they grow. So they have to stay at the surface of the soil. That's why I wanted to make sure I wet my soil first before I went in to plant any of these seeds, because all of them have to basically stay at the top of the soil. So I'm going to let you guys know how they, do later on down in the season, but they should be easy to grow. So they say they're easy to grow. But I love myself. I think peonies are my second favorite flowers next to hydrangeas. And I just wanted to try my hand out at a sort. So if you guys are wondering which type of peony I'm planting, it's called the Tower Salmon. I decided to take my gloves back off because the seeds were so tiny and I didn't want to lose any of them. So I just decided to use my bare hands, and I didn't touch too much of the soil, so I'm good. But I decided to use my bare hands just to make sure that I got a single seed instead of so many sticking to the fingerprint of the glove. So I'm adding the peonies in the center, and I've heard that peonies are really well. The package says that this grows easily, and also when you cut them, they're a sort of cutting flowers that they come right back and they last really long inside vases. So that is why I grabbed these ones. I'm probably going to try more peonies later on down, but I just wanted to give myself just a little start because these are not going to flower anytime soon. These are probably going to flower within the next couple years or whatever, but I just wanted to give myself a little bit of practice when it comes to planting the peonies, just to make sure that I'm good at growing them. And I did leave over with a lot of seeds, so I'm also going to add them to a lot of the planters in the front yard as well. So we'll see how those look. Right next to the peonies, and I hope that the peonies don't fight for space, I'm going to add the Dianthus spartabus, also known as the Sweet William, right around the outer part of where I planted the peonies. So I hope that they don't choke each other out, because I've heard that the peonies like their own space. So I hope they don't fight for space in this planter. If they do, then I will just go ahead and root up the other plants and just leave the planter for the peonies alone. But I'm also going to add a little more of the Sweet Alyssum around the outer edge of the pot, because I love that trail look that it gives. I just want them to trail over the edges, and also of course the benefits that they offer to your plants. So hopefully they don't fight in the pot too much. Like I said, I will keep you guys updated. So that is it for the backyard planters. I'm going to go out front and do the planters out front. The planters out front are really big and they are stone planters, so I can't move them back and forth. So I'm going to do those off camera. I'm going to plant up all of my peonies in those because I want a lot of cutting flowers for the next years to come, okay? So I'm just cleaning up the patio and removing everything out of the way for these planters that are on the back patio. My husband's going to place them on the trolley so he can take them to the front to put them in the indoor porch area so that they're out of the way for the workers. And I'm going to just move everything else off the patio and just take all of the rest of the furniture indoors, because in the morning of when I'm doing this video, the workers are going to come to rip down the terraza, the balcony. So the balcony will no longer be there. They're going to just rip that out and change it out and everything. So I just need to make sure everything is out of their way, because we will not be able to come outside once they start working. I thought I would share with you guys how I clean my cutting tools. Now these are the tools that I use solely for my planters, all my plants. For me to be a good plant mommy, I want to make sure I'm not transferring any diseases or bacteria from one plant to the next. So in between the plants that I'm cutting, I go ahead and I clean down my cutting tools with my Sagriton. Of course, you guys can use alcohol. Alcohol is quite fine, but I just go in with the Sagriton and make sure I clean down each tool in between the cutting of the different plants, as well as when I'm done cutting all of my plants, I go ahead and clean those down as well and store them away nicely. So I am going to put a clip up of the guys ripping down the balcony. And that will be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do remember to subscribe, thumbs up, and I will see y'all in the next video.